What's up, dudes? Today we are going to see a specific movie with a Disney character. I wonder what movie it is. What movie are we going to see?
Today we're going to see a movie called Christopher Robin.
Dost thou have any expectations?
I expect to be sad, but also kind of happy as well.
Sounds like nostalgia.
Yeah, nostalgia. That's what he meant. Yeah. And just to set the record straight, Pooh was he wasn't a Disney character until
I know that.
yeah. But anyway, yeah.
Thanks.
That's a little history lesson. He was created by an author called A.A. Milne.
No.
Yeah. Who was a World War I veteran. Or no, not a veteran. I think he was in like the intelligence
I see.
for Great Britain at the time. So yeah, that's a little history lesson. I might be wrong, so I'll double check my work.
Alright.
So for some reason we got a history lesson that we didn't pay for.
You can always Venmo him money.
Yeah, I know, right?
So if you want to give us free money, I'll put links in the description. Not really. What's up, dudes?
Hey, what's up?
So we saw a movie.
Yep.
It was a movie that originally I wasn't 100% sure I was going to see, but I figured, why not? We went back to the 100 Acre Wood.
Yeah.
And if you don't know that reference, you probably shouldn't be watching this video.
Yeah.
Because that means I'm way too old.
We saw Christopher Robin, aka Winnie the Pooh, return to 100 Acre Wood.
Yeah, pretty
I
much.
just made that up.
Well, that would be a pretty
Yeah.
good title for that.
Yeah.
Because it's literally Return to 100 Acre Wood,
Yep.
which was actually really cool.
Yeah. I really like this one.
Me too.
In fact, I'm gonna say this. It's probably my favorite movie of the year.
Oh, wow. I didn't
Yeah.
expect that. So, what's the plot like?
So, for those of you who don't know the story of Winnie the Pooh and Christopher Robin Robin was this little boy. I think he was either 11 or 10, and he would go through this tiny door in the woods, and he would end up in a forest called 100 Acre Wood, and there he would meet a talking yellow bear named Winnie the Pooh, and
The other people.
Yeah, and his other friends.
There's the owl, there's Rabbit, Piglet, Tigger,
and Eeyore.
and Eeyore the donkey.
Yeah.
Your relative.
Yeah. He's my gloomy counterpart.
Counterpart, you're gloomy too.
Ancestor.
Yeah.
But yeah. So yeah, and in this movie, Christopher Robin is all grown up. Like, I'm going to guess around his 30s.
Yeah.
He has a wife and he has a young daughter. And he works at a luggage company.
And he went through
A war.
one of the two world wars.
Yeah,
I
it wasn't
assume.
really specified.
Yeah, they well, it looks like a nondescript uniform. It's
Yeah.
not really a World War I uniform or a World War II uniform.
Yeah, they just made it ambiguous, but for the type of film it is,
It didn't matter.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's and he returns to 100 Acre Wood.
So basically what happens is Winnie the Pooh wakes up after Christopher Robin spills some honey.
Yep.
And he smells it.
Yeah.
And then he starts wandering around the 100 Acre Woods and realizes all his friends are not there.
Yep.
So he goes back through the hole that Christopher Robin appears through and ends up in Christopher Robin's world. Christopher Robin is a cantankerous 30-something adult who thinks work is life.
Yeah.
And Pooh helps him remind himself that that's not always the case.
Yeah, and I would say that's probably the main theme of this movie.
I would say so too.
Yeah.
And I mean, another thing that's kind of adjacent to that is the whole idea that we some of us never really got to know our parents as people,
Yeah.
only as parents, because that's how they wanted it to be.
Mhm.
And in this story, his daughter gets to learn who he is as a person and not just as her dad.
Yeah, and I thought that was a pretty interesting angle, like a narrative angle
Yeah, me too.
the film took.
And the story had a double arc.
Yeah, which worked out.
So literally there's an inciting incident, a rising action, a climax, a falling action, and then another inciting incident / rising action, because they kind of take place at the same time.
Yeah, yeah.
Unlike the Dark Knight movie that had Heath Ledger in it,
Mhm.
Heath Ledger was great in it.
Yeah.
The whole second arc with Two-Face didn't really work with me.
Me neither.
This did the double arc really, really well. It's another one of those movies that reminds me that being creative is more than just figuring out how to work things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of little philosophical wisdoms in there.
And Winnie the Pooh's childlike responses to things that Christopher Robin, played by Ewan McGregor, by the way.
Yep.
Cue Obi-Wan picture. So Pooh's childish banter with Christopher Robin are actually somewhat clever logic games.
It would appear that I am stuck.
Have you
just eaten honey? I have not just eaten honey.
Like, really?
I wonder which way.
Yeah.
You just kind of take meaning for granted and say, well, that's what that means. But
Do
why?
you?
And Winnie the Pooh does a lot of that. And,
Yeah.
and if you're annoyed by that, you're going to find it annoying, but I thought it was funny.
Yeah, I thought it was funny too. Like, we just go through life a little too seriously.
And there is literally a Winnie the Pooh philosophy book called I think it's
The Tao.
the Tao of Piglet, right?
Tao of Pooh.
Or is it Pooh? I think they
Yeah.
have both now.
Yeah, I think there's 2 books.
Yeah, so I'll put links to those in the description just because, why not?
Yeah.
Dude, I would say bring some kids to see it. I mean, dude, okay, so there was a baby in the theater that was
Yeah.
kind of noisy at first, but even the baby quieted down.
Mhm.
Like, I mean,
Yeah, it's definitely family. I'd say it's a family film.
it definitely is.
Yeah.
I was watching it with the nostalgia goggles the whole way through. I grew up on Disney's Winnie the Pooh, and then later I found out A.A. Milne, like, wrote the things.
Yeah.
And then I read the thing online, and I was like, oh, I see where Disney, like, mined all of its ideas from for later arcs.
The book has a lot of wisdom in it.
It does, actually. Which is funny, because I didn't tell me that A.A. Milne's kid hated the book.
Yeah. Yeah, his actual son,
Yeah.
Christopher Robin.
Right.
Yeah.
He's literally immortalized, and from what I remember, he didn't really care for that.
Yeah, but I'd say it's a good film, and the way they animated the Pooh and his friends was pretty interesting to me.
Yeah, I mean, it was a little weird at first, because
Yeah.
I was so used to seeing the 2D animated Winnie the Pooh characters that I was like, oh, dude, this is kind of weird, but dude, it grows on you.
Yeah.
You stop seeing it that way, and they're like, oh. And they actually look like real stuffed animals. Of course, you know they're CG because they're talking and
Yeah.
walking, but dude, they did a good job.
Yeah. So this is a definite thumbs up for me.
Same.
Yeah.
See it, take some kids.
Yep.
Hopefully not the, moody preteen / adolescent ones, because
Yeah.
they'll be like, oh my god, this is the ooh.
So stupid.
But later they'll need the reminders.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
definite thumbs up.
All right, and we'll see you next time at the movies.
Yeah.